Hey, my awesome listeners, I just wanted to talk about something really fucking awesome. I'm sure you all know because hell, if you're subscribed to my channel, you must be into gaming. That's kind of mostly what I do. The topics aren't as important, right? But in any case, as you can clearly see from the title and the picture, this video is going to be about Resident Evil 7. As an old school gamer, I didn't actually. I grew up with the NES, Super Nintendo generations. So I did get to experience was actually lucky enough to experience the Resident Evils when they were new, and that was the thing. Unfortunately, I had the N64. So, yeah, I was more of a Nintendo person. Which, well, they had their good games too. They didn't have anything like Resident Evil. I think they did come out with a Resident Evil 2 on N64, but I believe it was a bit weaker of a system, so it was kind of a shitty thing. I don't even think I owned it. In any case, not really worth mentioning. It's just one game out of the series, and out of the first three games, the third one's my favorite personally. Joe Valentine's awesome. I like Nemesis. I like the new dodging system they added. Anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic somehow. Well, it's their part of the series anyway. I just want to give you an idea of how I feel. Like, I love the series. I love the old school. I love the old games. 1, 2, 3, Veronica, the Resident Evil Outbreak series. Yeah. So, this came out. I'm not sure what platforms it's on. Of course, I'm going to assume the current gen, right? At least PS4 and Xbox. I don't know about PC. Sorry, I didn't look it up. Like, I could look it up after the video and post it down in the description or something. But I'll put some links down there too. You can check out some cool stuff. I'm hyped, honestly. I'm fairly hyped for the start of this because what we've seen so far, the first 15-20 minutes of the gameplay. One unique thing about this game is that it's first person. It is actually not the first Resident Evil game in first person. There's I want to say 3 or 4. I can't remember all of the Resident Evil titles. I'll also put a link for the history of Resident Evil down in the description. I believe it was Dead Aim, and there's the Umbrella Chronicles, and what was it? It was like the Umbrella Chronicles twin. I'm sorry, I can't remember. Again, all that stuff you could find out, and I'll put it down after, and I can look it up. But in any case, this is going to be first person. From what I've seen, the graphics look good to me. People were complaining and saying it looked like GameCube graphics, and I'm like, GameCube graphics actually look pretty damn good. When I'm thinking of Resident Evil 0 or the Resident Evil remake, those look pretty damn good for its generation, in my opinion. But to me, this game looks fantastic. I could give two shits if it's first person because the atmosphere from what I saw is fucking amazing. It's not like Resident Evil 4 through 6 where you have a gun and you don't give a shit what pops out. It can be freaking anything and you'll just blow it away. So this is something to look forward to, and I really, really hope this does well, because I love the horror genre in games, at least AAA games. And indie, it's hit and miss. The thing I appreciate most of it is not the dark story, not really the dark and depressing, abusive, rape, and torture stories, but the atmosphere, how it's unique, and it creates a tension that other game genres just don't do. So I really hope this does well. is if this does well, that that proves give that would give game developers to not abandon the horror genre, which it would if last gen it felt close to happening. I mean, Resident Evil games like 5 and 6, they weren't really horror. It was action. Let's just face it, it was action. I'm not personally a fan of Silent Hill games. I don't even know how many they came out with. I do believe that in last gen they did come out with some. They were pretty good. I did check them out. But oh yeah, there's also some digital download only games like Siren's Inferno or no Curse of the Siren, something like that. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of horror games that I could particularly think of. So if this does well, I'm hoping that this becomes the new thing of Resident Evil. Maybe horror will have a little bit more going for it in this generation of gaming. And I really hope people stop hating on it, because we don't need anymore. We don't need another COD clone. We don't. We need. This is something that's different and stands out from it. And something that kills me is that people are saying there are people who are actually having the audacity to say that this is not a Resident Evil game. And what is Resident Evil? I mean, what is the core fundamental that makes it a Resident Evil? Is it just because it's a third-person game? No. The thing that made Resident Evil originally, to me, was the atmosphere. The crazy camera angles, you hear the sounds. It kind of created like a somewhat psychological thing. In terms of being an adult, the graphics, for the original PlayStation, it wasn't scary because it looked so pathetically fake, right? But as a kid, growing up, it did its job. And now we have a visual visual graphics capability we do today, and it looks fantastic, at least to me. So that's all I wanted to say for this one. Again, I'll leave all links and information and stuff down below. Thanks for listening.